Welcome back to the show. It's your girl Sarah right here on Relax Radio, and I am super excited to be here because we're having the very best and the most interesting conversation only on Relax Radio. All right. So if you want to share your thoughts with me, if you want to share your opinions with me, don't be shy. All you need to do is just text me or call me on 078 Share your thoughts, share your opinions because I would absolutely love to hear what you have to say with regard to the very latest that is happening in the world. All right. So don't actually forget to do that. And now, before we actually move into the conversation, which is the chaos that is caused by greenwashing, I want to very quickly remind you that you can, in fact, be a part of this show, all right? All you need to do is just text me or call me on the number given below. And also, don't forget to go like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And obviously, don't forget to download our app either, because that's available on both the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. And that way, you can actually make sure that you're always informed and updated about the very latest about everything that happens in the world, and you're always listening into the conversation as well. And I genuinely don't think it gets any better than that. So don't actually forget to share your thoughts and opinions with us, and the very latest opinion that you have about what we're discussing as well. All right. So don't actually forget to do that. And now let's actually head into our conversation because we're going to be talking about the chaos that is caused by greenwashing. All right. Now, if you're not exactly sure what exactly greenwashing is, how exactly it works, what exactly needs to be done, fear not, because I'm here to, dispel all of your fears and dispel all of the myths that exist with it as well. And I want to essentially make sure that you understand and that you know about all of these. About what exactly greenwashing is, what its impact is, and how exactly that might be a big problem in terms of trying to go green, in terms of trying to be sustainable, and in terms of trying to be greener. All right. Now, if you don't know what exactly greenwashing is, it's essentially when large firms, and this doesn't even have to be energy firms, but in fact, any large firms, they will essentially introduce a specific component that might seem to you as sustainable, right? For example, recently there was this brand that introduced paper straws instead of plastic straws, right? However, it's called greenwashing because these companies can actually afford to make better changes. They can afford to make bigger changes. So the fact of the matter is, if you're just going to change the plastic straw to a paper straw, but make sure that the packaging is plastic, the cover that the straw is also plastic, then you're not really making any change because you're still going to contribute that same amount of plastic to the environment, and that's going to affect pollution, right? So obviously this is one of the biggest issues as well. All right. So to make sure that you're always informed and updated about all of this, make sure you text me and make sure you let me know about what is happening on WhatsApp, because you can text me on 078 as well. Okay. So to get back into this conversation, to essentially share my thoughts and opinions with you on this conversation. Now, the UK government has actually launched an investigation into renewable electricity deals because of this growing concern that there is in fact a huge extent of greenwashing by large energy firms that basically claim to offer environmental benefits to customers, right? However, what's happened is all of these customers have found out later on, look, we're not actually getting any environmental benefits, and it's in fact greenwashing, because more than actually having a sustainable or greener solution to what we're going through, they're actually polluting the environment, right? So essentially, in this crackdown, there were these increasing numbers of people who switched to a renewable energy deal, right? And the government said that it would actually review how the sector markets its green electricity tariffs to consumers. Because the truth is, especially if you have green energy, if you basically go a sustainable energy or clean energy, in not just in the United Kingdom but in a lot of countries, you tend to get a tax exemption, or you don't really get taxed the same amount as you do, or you're exempt from certain rules and regulations that companies that pollute the environment with their carbon emissions and greenhouse gas emissions have, right? So in terms of that kind of conversation, in terms of having a market where you essentially exempt certain companies because of how much because of the sustainability and green rules and regulations and guidelines that they revolve their companies around, this has increasingly become a big problem because so many people are saying, look, we're sustainable, we're greener, we want to make sure that we protect the climate, but they're not actually doing anything. Sure, they'll give a bunch of numbers and they'll take one step basically, but then they're not actually changing as much as they can, right? And now the government actually warned that it planned to tighten the rules to essentially stop firms from exaggerating the environmental benefits of their green electricity tariffs, right? And this is a marketing tactic, like I said, which is known as greenwashing. So the business department said that the investigation would focus on whether labels were actually 100% renewable or green and that they remained fit for purpose, right? Because this is happening, and it's one of the biggest problems as well, especially in a country, especially in an environment where we're constantly trying to reduce the pollution, where we're trying to be sustainable, where we're trying to be greener, especially ever since we've now begun to realize how much of an impact human activities have had on the climate, right? So, as many as 9 million British households are in fact on green tariffs, right? And more than half of all the new deals that were launched by energy providers are in fact now claimed to come with environmental benefits, okay? So now there's going to be a crackdown and they're actually going to be, looking into this. But make sure you stay tuned because we're going to head into a small break now. And after that, we will be back to discuss more of this. So obviously, until then, make sure that you stay tuned.
Cycling in London is not child's play. How to be a better cyclist. Listen to my show, only on Relaks Radio. I'm Kevin. Join me every Thursday, 5 p.m. Look forward to seeing you.
Welcome back to the show. It's your girl Sarah right here on Relaks Radio, and I am super excited to be here because we're having a very important and even interesting conversation, I might add, with regard to greenwashing, with regard to all of the chaos that has been caused to the planet, that has been caused to the industry, and even to the government because of greenwashing, and why exactly greenwashing is such a big problem. All right, so if you want to share your thoughts, if you want to share your opinions with me, don't be shy. All you need to do is just text me on 078 473. So you can share your thoughts and your opinions with me. All right, you can call me, you can text me, whatever it is that you need to do to get in touch with me, go ahead and do that. All right, and before we actually head into the conversation, I want to very quickly remind you that you can in fact be a part of the show. You can go like us on our Facebook and follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and actually subscribe to us on our YouTube channel as well. Now that will actually help you be informed and updated, and it will also help you find our very latest videos with regard to all of the things that we have been talking about. All right, so don't actually forget to be a part of this show, to share your thoughts, share your opinions with me, because I would love to hear what you have to say. And don't forget to download our app either, because our app is available for download on both the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. And now you can actually make sure that you're always listening to the conversation regardless of what you are doing, and you're making sure that you're always informed about the very latest that happens. All right, and now let's actually head into our conversation, because I was saying that this is in fact a big problem, right? You're having so many companies out there that are greenwashing, that are saying, look, you know what, if you basically purchase our stuff, or if you use our energy or whatnot, that you're essentially going to help the environment, right? You're basically going to make sure that you use cleaner, sustainable sources of energy. And the truth is, in my opinion, this is a form of exploitation. Because people right now are in fact much more concerned about the environment, right? They care about the environment. They want to try and live more sustainably. They want to try and live a much more greener life, and make sure that their carbon emissions, their carbon footprint is in fact much lesser than those of their parents or their grandparents, ancestors, essentially, right? So to make sure that this actually happens, you need to make sure that you invest in companies, or that you use products that have been qualified or certified as as green, as clean, as sustainable, as good for the environment. However, if you have these companies that are misleading consumers and saying, look, you know what, we're green energy, we're sustainable, but you're not actually going to do that, and that is in fact a big problem for all of these people who are trying to live sustainably, right? Now, like I said, many firms currently are able to advertise their tariffs as green, right? And you can even advertise it in some way if that energy they come from the energy that they supply comes from fossil fuels. You can still advertise that as green energy, right? And industry figures have actually warned that this misleads a lot of consumers, right? And now, basically you have so many suppliers that can use several ways to achieve green status under the current rules, right? And this is basically including, through committing to use 100% of the income from their consumers to invest in developing renewable energy, or actually by striking a deal with an existing wind farm or even a solar array to buy the electricity they produce. All right. So this is essentially, a few of the ways in which they can adopt and adjust to a much more sustainable, much more sustainable standard of energy, right? Now, under a government scheme, energy firms actually buy certificates that are known as renewable energy guarantees of origin, right? And these are actually designed to show customers, or rather show consumers, how much of the electricity they sell has been acquired from clean sources, right? And when a supplier claims that it's 100% renewable energy tariff backed in this way, it actually means it will match each megawatt of electricity that its consumers use, with certificates representing the same. All right, so that will actually represent the same amount of renewable energy when they use that certificate, right? Now, the experts have warned that this system is actually open to a lot of loopholes, and this is because of that risk, because of the risk of double counting, right? Which is basically, how the UK's renewable energy supply use even claims foreign renewables as its own. Okay, and the government has actually said it was considering whether to reform this RIGO system to make it much smarter, because that way we can actually keep better track and keep a better tab on how exactly this works, right? So that is the very latest on what is happening in the United Kingdom. Now, make sure you stay tuned, because we're going to head into a small break, and after that we will be back to keep discussing this. But obviously, until then, make sure you stay tuned.
The valuations that you place on an asset are always behind you. It's always in hindsight. It's never in front of you. And that's one of the challenges, right? Because you're always